Welcome back. In today's video, we're looking at a few Washington quarter dollar coins that many people still find in their everyday change. These coins may seem ordinary, but their design details, mint history, and condition can make them interesting to collectors. We'll break down each coin, what to look for, and why some versions are more sought after than others. Let's get started. Our first coin is a 1974 Washington quarter, without a mint mark, which means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. During this time, Philadelphia didn't place any mint mark on their quarters. So if your 1974 coin has no letter under the motto, that confirms its origin. On the obverse, you'll see the familiar left-facing portrait of George Washington. In circulated condition, the highest points, like the cheek, the jawline, and the hair above the ear, usually show smoothness from years of use. Even with that wear, the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1974 are typically still clear. The reverse features a classic heraldic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches placed below. Over time, the feathers on the eagle's wings and chest tend to flatten, especially on coins that were heavily used. Still, the main elements in the text around the rim remain easy to recognize. This quarter is made from copper, nickel-clad, weighs about 5.67 grams, and has a standard reeded edge, which may appear softened if the coin saw long-term circulation. In terms of value, 1974 Philadelphia quarters were minted in extremely large numbers. For that reason, most circulated pieces are only worth their face value. Only coins found in high mint state grades, with sharp details and original luster, can bring a bit more interest from collectors. Even though it isn't a rare coin, the 1974 no mint mark quarter remains a solid piece of the long-running Washington quarter series, and is still appreciated by collectors who enjoy building complete date sets. Next, we have the 1972 D Washington quarter, produced at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark located to the right of Washington's ponytail. This year, Denver struck a very large number of quarters, making the 1972 D one of the more common coins from the early 70s. On the obverse, we see the traditional portrait of George Washington. Circulated examples usually show moderate smoothing on the cheekbone, jawline, and the hair curls around the ear, all areas that tend to wear down first. Despite this, the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1972 remain easy to read. The D mint mark is usually visible, although slightly softened edges are normal on well-used coins. The reverse features a familiar eagle with spread wings resting on arrows, supported by olive branches below. On circulated pieces, the fine feathered details on the wings and chest often fade, but the overall design stays recognizable. The lettering around the rim, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar, typically remains intact even after years of circulation. Like other quarters of this era, the 1972 D is made of copper, nickel-clad over a copper core. The coin may show darkening dullness or small contact marks picked up from decades of use. The reeded edge may also appear worn in spots from constant handling. Because the mintage was extremely high, most circulated 1972, D quarters have no premium value and are worth only face value. However, coins found in mint state, with bright luster, sharp details, and minimal marks, can attract collector interest. Grades in MS 66 or higher become noticeably scarcer. There are also a few error varieties linked to this date, including off-center strikes, clip planchets, and small die cracks. These errors must be verified professionally to carry any extra value. Overall, the 1972 D quarter is a common but important piece for collectors completing date and mint sets from the 1970s. Now let's take a look at the 1990 D Washington quarter, another common issue from the modern clad era. This coin was minted at the Denver Mint, and you can spot the D mint mark on the obverse, positioned just to the right of Washington's ponytail. On the obverse side, Washington's portrait often shows noticeable where in circulated examples, especially around the cheek, jawline, and hair details. Since this particular coin is in scratch condition, you may see fine lines or light marks across the portrait or the flat background area. These scratches usually come from years of regular use. rubbing against other coins, cash drawers, or even being dropped on hard surfaces. Despite the wear, the main inscriptions remain readable: Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1990. Moving to the reverse, the design features a classic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, the same design that appeared on Washington quarters for decades. In scratched or circulated condition, the eagle's chest, wings, and legs often show softened feather details. Scratches may appear across the wings or the background fields, but the overall design is still clear enough to identify. The coin is made of copper, nickel-clad with a copper core, which gives it that familiar silver-gray look. Over time, circulated quarters from this era may lose some of their original shine and develop a dull or slightly discolored surface. The reeded edge also becomes smoother as the coin continues to circulate. In terms of value, the 1990 D quarter is very common, and scratch circulated examples don't carry any special premium. They are generally worth face value. Only well-preserved mint state pieces, those with bright luster, sharp strike, and no marks, can be worth slightly more, especially in MS 66 or MS 67 grades. There are a few minor varieties and errors reported for this year, such as small die cracks or light misalignments, but these need expert confirmation to gain collector value. While not a rare coin, the 1990 D quarter in scratch condition still represents everyday American currency and fits well in circulated collections or educational sets. Next, we have the 1980 D Washington quarter, a coin produced in very large quantities by the Denver Mint. You can easily identify it by the small D mint mark on the obverse, placed just to the right of George Washington's profile. On the obverse, the portrait of Washington shows the usual signs of circulation. The high points, such as the cheek, jawline, and the hair above the ear, tend to wear down first and appear smooth on heavily used examples. The flat background area, known as the field, often develops light scratches or small contact marks from decades of handling. Still, the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1980 remain clearly visible. Turning to reverse, we see the long-standing eagle design with wings spread, resting on arrows and olive branches beneath. In circulated condition, the fine details in the feathers on the eagle's wings and chest may look flattened, and the legs or talons may lose sharpness. However, the main design in the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar stay readable. Like other quarters of this era, the coin is made of copper, nickel-clad, which naturally dulls and tones over time. Circulated pieces may show darker spots, slight discoloration, or general loss of shine. The reeded edge may feel less sharp as a result of long-term use. In terms of value, the 1980 D quarter is extremely common, thanks to the high mintage that year. Most circulated examples are worth face value only. Collectors usually seek out coins with bright luster and crisp details, the type found in mint state grades. Those higher grade pieces could be worth a small premium, especially if well preserved. There are a few potential minting errors for this year, including off-center strikes, double die varieties, and clipped planchets, but these are not widely seen. Any such error must be authenticated to add additional value. Overall, the 1980 D Washington quarter is a typical everyday circulation coin, but it's still an essential date for collectors building a full set of Washington quarters from the late 20th century. Finally, we have the 1991 Washington quarter, a coin produced in large quantities during the final years of the classic eagle reverse design. Since Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark on quarters during this time, a 1991 quarter without a mint mark is almost always from the Philadelphia Mint. On the obverse, George Washington's portrait shows the expected signs of circulation. The cheek, jawline, and the hair above ear often appear smooth due to years of wear. Because this coin is in scratch condition, you may also notice thin lines or small marks running across the portrait or the surrounding flat areas. These scratches usually come from everyday use, like the coin rubbing against others in pockets or cash drawers. Still, the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1991 remain easy to read. The reverse features a traditional eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows with an olive branch below. On circulated coins, the feather details on the wings and chest soften over time. Scratches often show up in the background fields, making them more noticeable under light. Even with wear, the main design elements and the inscriptions around the rim are usually clear. This quarter is made of copper, nickel-clad, which tend to dull or tone after years in circulation. Some examples may show slight discoloration or dark spots. The reeded edge can feel smoother than on a new coin due to prolonged use. As for value, the 1991 quarter is very common, and heavily circulated or scratched pieces are generally only worth face value. Collectors typically search for high-grade mint-state examples with sharp details and strong original luster. These higher grades can carry a modest premium, especially when certified by a grading service. There are no major, widely recognized error varieties for this year, but minor issues like small die cracks or slight misalignments do exist. Any unusual feature must be confirmed by an expert before a coin is considered valuable. Overall, the 1991 Washington quarter in scratch condition isn't rare or high value, but remains an interesting part of the long-running Washington quarter series and is still used by collectors building circulated sets.